afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here on a Sunday with us. Really appreciate it. Look at all the regulars. Chels says she was first, even though I set up the stream. Rambler, GoDaddy, KKB. What's going on, everyone? Maddie, how are you on this wonderful Sunday?
Always good, Stephen. Excited to be here. That's all I have to say. Good time, as always.
Well, why don't you? I want to see what thumbnail you picked for today. Is what I want to say. So let's go to your YouTube channel, Matt. I'm a little scared. Oh, God. It should be the other way around. I'm down. That's freaking hilarious. Me giving you money in a tip jar. Okay.
What do you think,
Good
Steve?
kid. Good kid.
I try to keep up with you.
You know, I think I'm trying to keep up with you.
Nah, far from. It's the 8th, yeah? What did we close at? There's no way this is real. You have to walk
No way
me
what
through
is
this,
real,
Steve.
Matt. No way what is real.
I guess it's real, Steve.
We don't even know what you're talking about, Matt.
My portfolio performance.
Make sure your numbers are correct, sir.
I think we need to double check them, Steve, because I know I had a good week. I had a good week, Steve. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna try to blow smoke up your bum.
Mm-hmm.
But that good of a week? That good of a week, Steve?
I don't know. I mean, let's just get right into it. Show us your week.
I need one more minute. I'm almost done my homework. Almost done.
June, what's going on? June is here. Happy Sunday, everyone.
It's a great day, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on this glorious week, where I can show people how much better I am than you are. It's always a privilege to do so.
You know, Trip, I have no idea how to get the gold card from Robinhood. I mean, I said to the CEO's face, do you know anybody that can get me off the wait list? I'm pretty sure I'm still on the freaking wait list.
100%.
Let's see.
Me as well, Steve. You're not wrong. You're not alone.
I'm logging into Hood. Credit card. Yeah, still on the wait list. So
funny. He's like, it's so funny. He's probably just like left that call or left your guys' podcast. And he's like, he's like, you're gonna keep waiting, poor boy. Just kidding. But
he's like, how dare you downgrade me to neutral? You're waiting.
You're waiting, Steve.
Waiting.
100%. I think long options value.
Well,
updated that.
I have had one credit card for the longest time, and I feel like I need a second credit card. I mean, I really don't, but I just want one. And the perks on the gold card are awesome, so I would like it. But if I don't get it, I'll get something else. I will tell you this. I am highly considering moving money to Hood.
I thought you already had moved some.
I haven't moved any. I have put money in that wasn't tied to any accounts. I just moved money from my checking in there to buy Ethereum. Now, when I say move money, I am thinking about moving money there because of the match. Because if where I currently have it is not going to pay me anything to stay there, and there's no benefit for me staying there, I mean, I should probably take advantage of the 2%. It's a decent, think about it. Every 100 grand is $2,000.
It's true.
I mean, if my current place isn't going to pay me to stay, and I should probably call and have that conversation with them, Like, listen, either you pay me to stay or I'm going to Robinhood. I don't know what to tell you.
I think you should. I think you should have that conversation, Steve. Pay you to stay. What are you gonna ask for?
2%.
I like it. You should do it.
I mean, the reality is that if Robinhood is going to pay me 2% to leave, they should pay me 2% to stay.
I don't disagree with you, Steve. I think you should do it. I think you should call them up.
We may. I didn't move crypto there. I bought new crypto with Hood. Tommy Dimes loves, I think Tommy says this every show, that I like Cisco. I do like Cisco. Great company. Great company.
Cisco is a good company. I like it.
And I may go to Fanatics Fest. We'll see.
Fanatics Fest.
Fanatics Fest.
What's that?
The biggest sports, I guess, extravaganza in the country.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Not going to say where my current brokerage is, but it is a well-known institution.
There you go. Steve's putting that on the
Look at
line.
Roy. Roy's in the chat.
Good old Steve is putting it out there. I'm losing my mind here, Steve. I can't find one of my transactions.
You know, this is why I called you and said to you, have your homework done. Because we know that Maddie never did homework in high school.
And I look where I'm at, Steve.
I never did homework either in high school. I was the worst in high school. My senior year, I had 4 periods of classes out of 9. I have a very wild story about high school. The guidance counselors hated me. I was at
Do they? Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why would they hate you, Steve?
Well, I mean, I'll just, I don't really care. I'll say it. So basically, in New York, you have Regents exams, and it's like unheard of to not take Regents classes and pass with a high school diploma with Regents on it. And I was like, why am I going to do extra work? I know what college I'm going to. I already got into, or I knew I was going to get into the colleges. I wasn't planning on going away. I was basically just applying to like the safe school that everybody applies to. I had no interest in going away. It's like, why am I going to go crazy doing work in 11th and 12th grade? So I actually, from 10th grade on, I was like this. I dropped out. I didn't take chem on purpose because there was no need for it. And I basically went in and told the guidance counselor, I'm just going to graduate with a regular high school diploma. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I have no interest in doing the work. My senior year, I had enough credits to graduate, so I spent most of the time at the beach.
I did something similar, Steve. I got in so much trouble my 7th grade. Well, this is 7th grade, but I did some of this stuff in high school as well. But I remember in 7th grade, I remember asking my science teacher, I'm like, what's my grade right now? And she's like, high 90s or something like that. And she was like, this project is like 5% of your grade. I'm like, all right, I'm just not going to do it. And she tried giving me a B. And I said, no. I said, I'm not doing this project. You told me I had like a 97 or 98. I'm like, that's an A.
That's an A.
And she was like, I have discretion. I'm like, bullshit. Like, I know what I'm worth. And I've done that a few times, right? Like where I've been able to, and because of spite, the teachers are always like, no, I can decide what I want the grade to be, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's kind of BS, right? Like you work hard, you get the good grades. And then if you want to take a week off, God forbid, then they get all like upset with you. It's like, dude, who do you think you are? A little power trip? Come on. Rules are rules.
I mean, listen, I gamed the system. I knew what I needed to do to get out of there. And I knew where I was going to go to college. And I knew what knew what I didn't want to do. And I didn't want to sit in classes I had no interest in. And I figured out a way around it. kind of unheard of, but you know what? I did not care one bit. I was the worst. They were
Say it again,
happy.
Steve.
They were happy to get rid of me.
Say it again, Steve.
What, that I don't care?
Like it.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I had a different view. I didn't want to waste my time in classes that meant nothing to me. I wasn't going to become an engineer, so why do I need to sit through physics and calc? Just saying. Not becoming a scientist, why do I need chem?
Got a good point.
How to work on my 10 and lift, you know what I mean?
GTL, Steve. GTL. Gym tan laundry for Steve.
Maddie, you still haven't done your homework.
I'm just double checking that I'm not like I did well. So I'm doing well. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something that makes me seem like I don't want to cheat and say that I did something, and if I didn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry for making people wait, but it's
fine.
I just want to double check all my numbers before I just tell them how much better than I am than you are.
I mean, I'm not doing well right now, so we all know that.
Is it Mr. Patel?
No, it's my security company.
You did take it?
I gotta take this.
Okay. Everybody, good evening. I'm taking over Steven's stream. I can get started if Steve wants to pull me up. Let me pull it up. I'm like 90% certain that I'm doing this somewhat correctly, but I know there's a mistake somewhere. So by no means do I feel like I should be up this much. Let's see if Steve's not paying attention. But basically where I'm at, obviously Palantir's had a really good rebound over the past week or so. And for those of you guys that have been following my portfolio, I've had Palantir 2X shares that I was put. So I'd sold Palantir 2X puts at the $42 strike. February 2020 was the expiration date. I shared, Steve, if you want to stop slacking on stream. So anyway, I got put those shares, and so I held on to them. What is the current price of them?
Looks like you're sharing mine, not yours, sir.
No, this is mine. Am I on the wrong screen? Sorry, this is the wrong screen.
Can't take Maddie anywhere. Roy, you're welcome to join. Just let's get through the update, and I'll send you a link in like 5-10 minutes.
Oops, I accidentally.
Matt's not knowing how to work his computer today. He didn't do his homework. This guy, can't take him anywhere.
Steve thinks he's better than me. That's all right.
I mean, after we see the results, everybody's going to know I'm not.
I accidentally hard-coded this in. Let me.
And by the way, I started watching a new TV show, and it is so good. Lioness on Paramount.
There we go. That's not hard.
It's actually incredible.
Steve, let me pull up my stream rate so I know exactly what I'm showing. Oh, I am showing it. You're just not sharing it. There we go.
Okay.
So as I was kind of alluding to, so we did have this cash secure put assigned to us a week or so ago, and I held on to it. The strike was $42, and so I ended up having to buy the shares at 42. With that, of course, I collected some premium associated with that, so it wasn't all in the red. But regardless, the share price is now $53. So we're up about $1,000 on that, or 26% return. I made the mistake earlier this week, so it's not all gravy there. I made the mistake earlier this week selling a $55 call on it for $142. So $1.42 for the contract, $142 for everything, and then that current value is obviously down because the prices continue to move. So worst case scenario, I mean, had I done that, I probably would have sold just to lock in, because I don't want to get greedy here. I would rather take my money. How do I say this lightly without being too much of an ass? I would rather take this and kind of secure a pretty good run up of like a profit of about 1,000, um, and not necessarily have to take as much risk to make sure that I secure the W. But I don't know. Now I kind of put myself into a corner because I wrote this covered call and I'm underwater on it. So yes, I'm still positive on the trade, but if I were to do, close this out, I'd be down, $400. So regardless, a little bit of issues associated with that. What else is there, Steve? Next decade, I wrote that on the 2nd, so last week. That's currently profitable, so I wrote that for $337, and it's currently at 288. So I don't know what that is in terms of a return, but I'm up maybe 20% on that. So I could close that out today for a profit. So altogether, so far, collected about $2,300, $2,400 in total premiums. I've lost some in some of my long calls. So I've lost close to $630 in some of my long calls that I've made. So it's not all gravy from there. Luckily, my Palantir 175s I closed out for a slight profit. So this is closed out. So I did take the 175. So when I got put those Palantir 2Xs, I was just like, you know what, this thing's got to bounce at some point. So we went pretty double bullish on Palantir. I guess you could say triple bullish because I had a 2X and then I had actual 175 calls. So that was pretty cool. This was down, I think, last week pretty substantially. So the fact that it actually came back was pretty nice. So I was like, you know what? If time decay had anything to do with it, it was at the 175 strike for the long call. So I don't know if we're going to get to 175, and we're getting closer and closer to that March 20th. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my W and win on this particular contract, even at 6%, 6%. So I'm just going to do it instead of just maybe hoping next week that it goes in. So when did I sell this? I sold this recently. I sold this March 4th. So when was that? That's on Wednesday. So I sold that on Wednesday because the stock moved up. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it off the table. I didn't want to lose money there. I still have my SoFi shares that were put to me. They were down really bad last week. I think they were like 1750 or something like that. So we're back up to 1890. So I'm still down 10% on those, but it could be much worse. And then this Palantir 2X has obviously been the lion's share of the portfolio. So last week we had a couple bad down weeks, as you can kind of see. We were down $200 2 weeks in a row, and this past week, just based off the market accounting, with this massive increase in the PLTU shares, we're up about $1,400 for the week. Like I said, I'm kind of screwed though, because partly, this was a big swing. I was down pretty heavy on this PLTU, and then obviously it swung $1,100 to the upside. I sold some of the next calls, next puts, etc. So I collected some of that premium, but yeah. So overall, and I need to fix this table still, but I copied Steve's table down here to the right. So this is, I feel pretty confident that I'm showing you guys the right value, and it's up about 23% overall. But I still need to fix this bottom part of this table here. This premiums generated is correct, but this long options value, etc., I think is pulling from the wrong area. So don't pay attention to this table, because I think obviously it's wrong, and I need to fix that. But this is correct, because here's all my options values. Steve, I want to know if I'm doing this correctly for you. For the CSPs, are you just taking the put value of your CSPs for like how you're allocating it to your portfolio? Because otherwise it's not going to show up as very much money.
No, for cash secure puts, how much do you have tied to cash secure puts right now?
4,800.
Zoom in. And what's that for? What's the actual value of them right now if you got assigned?
Oh, so you're subtracting. Okay.
You gotta
So
subtract all that from it.
okay. So what you're doing is you're adding the premium that you're getting from these three, and then
No, the premium is a separate line item, Matt.
okay. So I'll need to double check it then. But
So basically, whatever cash you have tied up minus those three numbers is the value of your cash secure puts. Because if you have to spend 2,400 and 2,400, the $4,800, but when you take over those shares at $4,800, if they're only worth 44, that line item is $4,400, not 4,800. That's why I built that out like that. That needs to be subtracted from there.
okay. No, I need to update that then. That's understandable.
Homework, Matt. Gotta do your homework.
Well, I don't know. I don't calculate things this way. I don't like look at value of what the total value of this option is. I just look at what the hell premiums I've generated. So I'm trying to match what you're doing, but I don't do it this way. So appreciate that I did it. Yeah, but
I gave you the formulas. I gave you the answers to the test.
No, you didn't.
I mean,
what else is there? So yeah, I need to update this then because Steve is better than me. This cash number is wrong anyway, so it's probably
right. So why don't you update and I'll show you mine? How about that?
But all these positions are real, so whether or not the total is adding up appropriately, I don't know. But I'm up pretty big this week, so Steve's still better than me though.
Wouldn't say I'm better than you, but let's get the right values on there. And I am in the negative. So, StreamYard. All right. So everybody knows I had, unfortunately, BM&R put on me before I could roll it the other week because I was swamped at work and couldn't pay attention, and the shares got assigned to me on a Thursday when they expired on a Friday, which usually does not freaking happen. And I need to work my way out of that. It's my own fault. I wasn't paying attention, but I was locked up in meetings all day and just couldn't check. So right now, my initial investments in equity positions, Zeta, BM&R, PDI, and QQQI, 77.12. The current investment of what they're worth is just over 6,000. I am down 1630 on those. I have generated $676.74 in option income. I have a cash secured put open that expires on Friday from Zeta at $20.50 a share, which is locking up $2,050 in capital. Currently, the share price of Zeta is $18.84. So I'm currently down, if I was to get assigned, $166 on that. The BM&R cover calls expire on 3/13. Generated $58.67 in premium after commission. I wrote them at a 25.50 strike. I will probably write them a lot closer to the money this time around and work my way out of the hole. And I added a share of QQQI and PDI from the option income. I have got dividends generated on both of them. So far, we've generated $4.17 in dividend income. Right now, it looks like Maddie is looking at my sheet to see how I did it. I'm currently down 11.2%. So my total portfolio value is $88.7976. I still have $668.50 in initial cash. Still have $245 remaining from the option income I've generated. I have $913 in cash. I have an equity position of just over 6,000, and my option position, if I was to get assigned today, 1884. You add those up, I'm at 88.79. I'm down 11.2% right now. I think I will work my way out of the hole over the next month or so. I'm not worried about it. It is just a little setback because I'm a dumbass and wasn't paying attention to my positions because work got in the way. Damn work. So that is the portfolio update for myself. I am planning on rolling the Zeta call. I'm just going to continue to roll it every week at 2050 until it goes over 2050. BMNR, I will write another call, probably drop the strike price down to about 23.50, shave $2 off of it. Get a little bit more premium. I'll probably roll them in the middle of the week this week and go from there. Get some theta decay off of it. And hopefully I'm down like 8% next week because we're going to try to generate some additional income.
Steve, you're a good role model.
Did you finish updating everything?
Nope.
Nope.
Trying to figure out why my cash here is off. R60.
So at some point we will see just how much better Matt is than me. And I am not sure what I am going to do with the remaining cash yet. 913, not a tremendous amount of cash. Not really sure what I could buy that would equal 100 shares. I may just throw that in QQQI and generate income. I'm not really sure. I was considering keeping it, and if Oracle shits the bed, maybe buying one or two long-dated options for the remainder of the year, depending on how the earnings call goes. So we'll see. I am not sure what it's going to be, but we'll see. Oh, Dookie Pie's here saying, oh my God, you guys are junkies. Yes, Dookie Pie, we are junkies, 100%. There's no question about it.
All right, Steve.
You finished?
I just want to go through this with you to make sure I'm not wrong.
All right. I will drive. Where are we going?
Go to R56.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where we're starting. So, I don't know if you want to start at remaining cash from options. I don't know if you count that last one because it's a covered call, but I did.
No. Take that out. Only cash secure puts.
Okay.
Because a covered call, you're writing it wherever it is. You're not getting assigned shares. You already own the equity. So you're not negative on a covered call. The worst thing that can happen is it expires worthless, Matt.
Sorry, which one am I fixing?
You asked about the covered call, the Palantir 2X.
I know, but which column am I fixing? Total
I would
cash?
just say get rid of the 400 because you're not negative 400 on it, because the worst case scenario is you already own the equity, correct? Is it a covered call? You can't be in the negative because you're already accounting for the equity in your here.
Got it.
You're already accounting for that there. So you wrote a covered call on it. You can't be down on a covered call because if it gets called away, it's called away at a share price you already own it at.
Okay. So what's the next one then? Because apparently I'm down $264 in cash, so I'm definitely wrong somewhere.
I would say that the cash should be 10,000 minus equity and Man, I'm gonna have to actually go through your sheet with a fine tooth comb, Matt. We don't have to do this live. I will fix your sheet with you for next week. How about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not
So
smart
we are
enough.
going to put the
Steve.
brakes on Matt's because we have some accounting things to go over. So let's bring on Roy, since he is waiting backstage.
All right.
Roy, what's going on?
Hey guys, figured I rarely catch Sunday streams, but I'm like here in the office and I'm like, hey, I've got a little break, so let me chat with you guys. Nice hat, Matt.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How are you doing, brother?
Doing well. So I wanted to ask a pretty direct question, and you don't have to answer it. As always, it's not financial advice or anything, but I see, some other people asking it online, and you know this space well. In particular, Matt, Steve, you might have thoughts too, but it's specifically like the media likes to take things and like exaggerate and get clicks. So I've seen some wild price expectations in terms of oil, natural gas, and so forth. And so I'm just kind of curious, like, is the media just absolutely hyping it up? I know 20% of the world's energy runs through, or at least oil runs through Strait of Hormuz. So there is more than a 20% impact in price, but I don't know like how crazy this can get. And again, like just so people know, like not PG as a hedge, it just happened to work out kind of as a nice hedge. And I'm just trying to think through like if this goes significantly higher and faster than I expected, like where might it have gotten a little bit too far ahead of itself?
So in terms of United States issues, I would say like the impact to the United States and the US economy, I would say that the impact for oil is somewhat, and then with supply chain constraints or movements, just like what we saw with the Ukraine Russia conflict, there's always possibilities. But I think there's just so much oil still in stockpiles and storage tanks that like it's not that dire of a situation. I think what's likely to be the bigger problem is we import a lot of crude from Canada, and then we export a lot of our crude because it's better crude. Like the quality of it's different. So we basically take in lower quality from Canada and export some of our higher quality stuff because we can still refine it to a good degree. The thing I'm more concerned about isn't necessarily oil, it's really natural gas prices, not because I'm invested in it, but just because I think that's the reality. You can't store liquefied natural gas as easy as you can oil. Oil is obviously a liquid at room temperature. LNG. Am I messing up, Steve? Is that what you're looking at? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping me, Steve. The So the thing that I'm more concerned about is there's a lot of Southeast Asia LNG that comes from Qatar, and Qatar obviously is a not remote island, but it's a peninsula that's off the edge of Saudi Arabia and needs the Strait of Hormuz to be able to export to all the Southeast Asian nations. So the thing that I'm more concerned about, which will have a much potentially dire issue in the Southeast Asian markets, is how long does this persist from a LNG perspective? And we already know that Qatar is shut in. Well, we don't know, but the news in Qatar Petroleum has stated that they've shut in their LNG facility publicly, and it's going to take a while to get that up and running again. Generally speaking, these are very large facilities that take a lot of energy to be able to start up and repressurize. And so it's a very difficult process to get them shut down. And it's not something that should be taken lightly. But that being stated, that's why you've seen a lot of volatility in the Korean markets. A lot of people are like, Matt, there's a lot of Korean LNG, etc. It's like, no. Korea imports a lot of LNG. They do have some petroleum, but not enough to help support their economy. And same thing with Japan. So while TTF prices, the tidal transfer facility in Europe, has actually gone up in price a lot, at the moment you're seeing JKM, Japanese Korean marker, go up higher than that by about 10% or so. And I wouldn't be surprised if it persists going into next week if nothing gets resolved. The thing that I at the moment is I'm looking at is that still the outer months for LNG, the outer months for oil prices meaning like December 2026, for those contracts, it is still looking like it's going to return somewhat back to normal. LNG is a little bit more elevated, but oil prices go back to almost where they were prior to this conflict entirely. Maybe a slight premium of like 10%, maybe, but nothing too crazy. And so what that means is a lot of people are currently expecting the prices maybe to be impacted by 1 to 2 months, but in the long term, they expect everything to get back to normal. So I think it really just depends on how much further the conflict escalates. Like when Steve and I are talking about this, was it last Friday stream or Saturday stream? So about a week ago, really when this thing had initially, the skirmish had initially gotten started, it was something where we're like, we don't. I personally was like, I don't see it going above $85 a barrel. It's obviously escalated. Other countries have now been impacted and hit. Um, does it persist? I'm not 100% certain. I'm getting mixed messages from the Iranian regime saying, "Oh, we're sorry that we hit other, friendly nations in the region. We shouldn't have done that." But then at the same time,
And we'll do it again.
yeah, they basically said we're no longer going to do it, and then immediately hours later they did it again. So how much can you trust, and in that respect, how much is this going to continue? I think the one big picture that is still uh, scary to me that could escalate this further and really would potentially drive prices up higher is if the Kurds actually do start to take land grabs of Iran. And so, for anybody that's kind of curious as to what I'm talking about, Iraq is generally split into two subregions in its simplest form. There's many subregions of Iraq, but there's Kurdistan, which is kind of the northeastern part, if I remember correctly, of Iraq. And then there's southern Iraq, which has always been kind of the place where a lot of oil companies are able to do business pretty freely, or more freely since the invasions of early 2000. The potential is that the Kurdistan government kind of acts as like its own autonomous subset of the Iraqi government. Um, and apologies, give me some rope here because I'm not the best at geopolitics here. But from my rudimentary knowledge, is like I know that there's some geopolitical conflicts associated with dealing with the Kurdistani government. So will they continue to try to take this opportunity to potentially take a land grab, and then might be more of less a regime change in Iran now is now talking about an invasion of Iran, right? So that is where the potential for an ongoing conflict could potentially increase prices even further, with potentially ships being attacked more so than they already have in the Strait of Hormuz, and that's potentially where I see oil prices going much higher potentially, because if you disrupt 20% of the oil supply, and it's not just getting moved around, right? Like with the Ukraine government, when the Ukraine invasion happened, things just moved around, and so you saw prices spike, but they eventually kind of came back to somewhat normal because things eventually kind of took back to where they were. But if you kind of cut off the world from 20%, I mean 20% is a lot. I don't know. There would be a large price impact because of that. There's a lot of supply chain associated with it. So I don't know the answer. I mean, to be very honest with you, for anybody, I guess, is talking about going back to the specific trades that you and I have, or stocks that you and I have for Venture Global. If anybody's looking at it from a short-term perspective, was looking at it from a trade, hey, you might have made 80% or so, depending on when you bought, 60, 70, 80% on that. Congratulations. It really just would think about it. There's potential that this gets resolved, and then the value of the stock goes back down below $10 a share. And so, depending on what you're looking at, um, take your money off the table. If you wanted quick money, this is potentially an opportunity. But to me, if you hold Venture Global long term, it should be valued more so than what Cheniere is. And Cheniere is currently valued twice as much as Venture Global on a market cap basis. And it should expand higher than that based off the fact that they have a lot of projects coming through the pipeline as well. So it really just depends, for people that are listening in, how you want to situate yourself and what type of investor you are. I'm holding because I believe in the long term. I'm not looking for a quick 60% from the bottom, 70% from the bottom. I'm not exactly sure how much it is. Maybe it's a double from the bottom at this point, but I'm looking for potentially the stock getting to above $100 billion market cap. And so that's why I'm holding, say, Venture Global. And next decade, unfortunately, just doesn't really get any love at this point because there's no actual revenues or exporting going on right now. So it's kind of been stuck.
Yeah, that helps. And yeah, it sounds like at least there's not been much exaggeration as far as what LNG prices could do if this persists. And I hope it's over sooner, even though, VG would go down. It's like, hey, still, it's causing a lot of pain around the world. I can take a little in my portfolio, and probably the tech and growth to do a little bit better. I have mostly shares, and then I bought a brace of $10, no, it's $15 calls on VG, which are up pretty substantially just because, like, looking at the price in December, like, okay, the price is absolutely stupid. Let me just buy some of those too. And so that's really what I'm looking at, where I'm trimming or anything, and holding the shares long term, just because, like you said, I think long term there's a significant opportunity, but short term, wouldn't mind making some money off of it and putting in some very underpriced growth in tech stocks too. But the not cutting here, just like, how silly and how ahead of things could this be? Now, my only other question on this is, and I hope this doesn't persist, but you mentioned Next. I'm not in Next, but I know that there's, of course, VG has some projects that'll come online between now and 2035. Next, of course, is building towards that as well. If this persists, is there anything that you think could happen as far as, like, the administration, as far as deals, as far as just basically cutting red tape that accelerates some of those projects and changes things as far as the timetable for either of those names? Or would we have to see this persist for like a really long time, like 6 months, a year, whatever?
Specifically around next decade or Venture Global?
Both, either, like, or anything in the space, like.
So the thing that could be beneficial for Next, I don't think you can go any faster with Next. They just sanctioned Train 4, Train 5. There's going to be a holdup with respect to how quick those gas turbines can kind of get moved. So they're all being developed, and I believe it's Italy, and then they'll have to be shipped over. So I think that is dependent upon the pace at which they're able to construct it. So I don't think there's any long leads or critical path that is kind of being impeded at the moment to get those projects online. For Venture Global, there might be some expansion projects that could be accelerated depending on, say, for example, because of this skirmish, there's a lot of, in my opinion, I think the big outlier that is unsecured future of LNG imports is India. So they have some imports. I mean, they're importing like 20, 30 MTPA or something like that, or 25, like high 20s MTPA. But I think they're eventually going to double that within the next 10 to 15 years. And they don't have that fully contracted. And so right now, they potentially are relying on what happens with their in-region gas production. And from what I've seen, it doesn't look 100% promising, right? And yes, they might have some quick wins, but they're not finding a what's a good gas source they're not finding another Northwest Shelf Australia or something like that that's going to offset the import needs that they have in India at the moment. And I could be wrong. Maybe they do have some good finds there. But to me, there's a huge opportunity for India to potentially lock in prices. But now the prices are inflated. So what are they going to do? And they're not in a huge predicament at the moment. But if this persists into 27, 28, there could be opportunities where they come to VG and Next and say, hey, we want to diversify away from the Middle East, because a lot of their volumes do come from the Middle East. And if that's the case, mostly Qatar, and if that's the case, then they could push Venture Global to say, we need more gas as fast as possible. That would potentially accelerate the timelines on the final investment decisions for their expansion projects. I think CP3 is too big of a project. CP3 is like going to be a $20, $30 billion project on its own. So I think that's going to be tough to kind of accelerate, and you need to finish CP2 first. So that one's going to be tough, but I think there's an opportunity for next decade because They have 93% of the first phase of the project, so trains 1 through 3 contracted. So 7% is floating spot prices. The difference that could be useful here for next decade is trains 4 and 5. They're only 75% contracted. So depending on if the right opportunity comes through, there could be 1 or 2, or maybe even, I'm trying to think, the sizes are 6 MTPA a piece. So 12 times. So there's 8 out of 12. Is that right? No, 9 out of 12 MTPA from the trains 4 and 5 at next decade that are the Rio Grande facility, I mean, that are contracted. So there's an opportunity for 3 MTPA that is uncontracted from trains 4 and 5, but they wouldn't be exporting until 28, 29. So it's kind of tough to kind of say like it's going to have a massive impact today, but it could have long-term value impacts depending on what contracts are signed.
That makes sense.
Sorry, it's not like a direct answer, and it's very like long-winded, but
so I heard VG to 100 tomorrow is no, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that I appreciate that. Yeah, that was really interesting. So those are my 2 questions, Steve. Matt, thank you guys for letting me pop on. I got to go in like a couple of minutes. So, but didn't want to interrupt your whole stream. But I saw a lot of questions on X and here, and I'm like, I know the guy to ask right there. So
yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
So how much more work do you have to do on the dissertation?
Basically between now and Thursday, every single free minute of my time. I mean, obviously I need time to eat and a little bit of break, but for the most part, it's all focused towards that. I have, I think, 270 sources, and I need to know all of them well. If I get asked about one and I'm like, I don't remember what they said, that could be a failure, and ended up that I have to defend again a little bit later. But yeah, just a lot of things that I'm tweaking on, double checking, making sure I'm familiar with, and would like to knock it out the park in one try.
All right,
It'd be nice to be done. Well, appreciate you guys. I'll hop off now, but I'll keep listening for the next few minutes.
Good story. Good seeing you, brother. But yeah, somebody's asking about Iranian oil. Honestly, the only thing I know is that Iran and Qatar, they share a lot of the large fields. So Qatar generally produces out of what's called the North Field, and that's where they get the majority of their exports. I know that spans across the maritime border between Qatar and Iran. Iran obviously is then connected up to South Asia in that respect as well. So they're able to export via pipelines through Pakistan and many others. So that is where my kind of expertise kind of drops off. I've never really looked much at Iran because it's always kind of been hands off for my particular company for the reasons that we're kind of having this discussion today. So I don't know much about how Iran's oil looks, but what I can say is Iran does have oil. They've had it since the early 1900s, and it's been producing since the 1900s. But in terms of their reserves and everything like that, I don't know enough about it. I don't know if it's sweet. I don't know if it's heavy. And comparing it to Venezuela, I don't know. Venezuela is very heavy and sour, meaning a lot of sulfur content, which can impact your facilities pretty greatly. So I don't know, but I do know Iran has a lot of gas, natural gas, that they then export to Pakistan and likely potentially to India and the northern part of India. But as we know, Pakistan and India don't get 100% along. So
heard it here first, everyone. Heard it here first.
So Steve, you were giggling about how badly I've managed my spreadsheet. What happened?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I found out where your stuff went wrong, and I'm pretty sure that I did everything correctly. We can talk about it offline, or we can do it live.
Am I faking my numbers? Am I actually down like $1 million?
No, I just think you look at. So go to the spreadsheet. Look what I have highlighted. I'm pretty sure this is where you're at.
Yeah, so I'm fucking killing it, Steve. Just tell me I'm rich.
I didn't say you weren't.
Just tell me I'm rich, Steve.
I didn't say you weren't. You're up double digits. I just think that you did something in the equations wrong somewhere.
And I think
that this is where you're at. And I'm pretty sure if you look at how I labeled things, you'll see exactly how, because you started with this, you generated that much in option income. So theoretically, that's your liquidity. You used your liquidity to purchase the equity and naked options, and you have that much capital of your liquidity locked up for a total of this. Equities and naked option position is this. Cash secure current value is that. You have that as your total, and you also have that cash remaining from the option income generated in your starting capital versus where you've applied it, giving you this total and that ROI.
I'm broke.
I mean, I wouldn't say you're broke.
So this is why I was like, I want to start a fresh account. You know,
I would just say that you're up. I believe you're up 17.93%.
Yeah, this is why I was like, I want to start a fresh account. Like, and God damn it, this is why. Yeah. Anyway,
but does that make sense?
No, it does. I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is 18% basically. But,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 18 because you generated 2,361.73 from options, and you started with 10. So your total liquidity that you had available to you is 12,361.73. You've used just over 12,000 for the locking up 4,800 in options and spending the 72.57 for your positions and your naked options, leaving you with 304.36 in cash. I'm like 99.99% sure that this is correct.
Yeah, looks about right.
I'm just not sure. Something in your thing on the right got messed up somewhere. So I just redid it based on all the moves you made.
No, that's understandable.
So Matt is currently winning by a lot. He is up $1,793, which is 17.93%, which is currently outperforming the market.
Yeah, and I made some bad mistakes. So.
Oh, not as bad as me. We're actually paying attention to work instead of your portfolio.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to keep, like, I wanted to start a fresh account because I have other things in this account that I'm trying to, like, and it just convolutes things. So anyway,
Yeah,
it was basically an account that I had that was 40,000 that I was going to use as a dividend account and start my dividend portfolio. And I started doing it, and then there was like sales to be able to start this, and so now it's like I have other positions in this that I'm trying to like back out, and it's not as simple. Or I'm not that smart. So
yeah, so for those of you saying about the accounts, these are all real transactions. We just did not open separate accounts because the accounts we're using are already approved for options and everything. So we can do everything we want in those. There was no waiting period. Anyway, these are the numbers. Matt and I will look at it again, but I'm pretty sure that this is correct. He's up 17.93%, which is awesome.
2 months, not bad.
Not bad. Not a bad return. Not a bad return.
I mean, that's where I was like, do I just liquidate everything and just sit on cash the rest of the year?
Chill? I mean, you could.
Do I want to win or do I want to, you know what I mean? Like it's where I'm at now, Steve, with life. I'm like, do I just chill or do I push the edge?
I'm just saying, you could liquidate all your positions and just chill. But what fun would that be, Matt?
Every day I wake up, I say, what would Steve do?
Well, here's where I'm at. I'm looking at the week ahead, and we have a very big week. We got CPI numbers coming Wednesday morning for February. We know the markets are sensitive to any signs that inflation is reaccelerating or becoming stickier than expected. And this could push back rate cuts. You got Oracle reporting Tuesday evening. It's critical for the AI infrastructure narrative, not because it's going to change anything with the hyperscalers, but this could give the bears more ammo. I will be paying very close attention to it. I will be streaming the Oracle conference call live on Tuesday, most likely. We've got oil prices spiking, which we've talked about at great length throughout the entire weekend. We have the CB Employment Trends Index on Monday at 9 a.m. We have the New York Fed one-year consumer inflation expectations coming this week. We also have, there's another big one, Adobe, coming in. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Oracle's heading into Q3. Their cloud revenues are projected to surge up to 44%, and AI demand could lift Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So their involvement in Stargate AI, the recent $25 billion bond offering, there's a lot of things that are making this unknown about how their numbers are going to come in. I'm very worried that their balance sheet is going to expand to 120, 125 billion long-term debt at a time when their cash from operations and EBITDA may not be growing nearly enough to create a picture where it can continue to expand. So,
And if that's the case, it's not going to be well. The stock market is not going to
right. And unfortunately, Oracle's balance sheet, once again, means nothing for the other ones. From a business fundamental aspect, it has everything to do with a narrative aspect. And I'm afraid that if Oracle's EBITDA to net debt ratio gets worse, it's going to create a sector-wide sell-off, even though the other ones have more than enough profitability to afford the infrastructure build out. So I'm actually expecting a pullback this week in tech. I think that the bears are going to come out with a lot of ammo. I think I'm going to have to write another part 5 on Tuesday or Wednesday night on X about this, about whatever Oracle does doesn't matter for the other ones. And if Oracle goes down a lot, I'm probably going to start a position that will grow into a large position over the next several years if they go down enough. Here's why. If Oracle goes down to 120 or 125, I think I start a position. If it goes down to 100, I add. If it goes down to 80, I add more. Because do I see Oracle in 2 to 3 years from now at those levels? No. When we look at how much these other companies have been able to monetize their assets over the past 3 years, Oracle is at that place that these companies were at 3 years ago. So if we take the same trajectory of growth, Oracle should have amazing growth over the next 3 years. So I think this is the cycle where they get hit, and I think they can rebound going forward. So I wouldn't be scared to take a position if Oracle falls.
I think there's definitely an opportunity to pick up SaaS companies like Service Meow. I'm long Service Meow. I think I have the August 115 calls, and I've been up. I forget what I'm up on them, but I'm up a little bit. And so, like I said, I don't normally play this calls game, the swing trade, but when there's an opportunity, I think that there's an opportunity to take some higher risk and turn it around. Normally I like to play the long game and just have that opportunity, but I don't disagree with you, Steve. I think that there's an opportunity with Oracle and a lot of these other companies that have yet to see the impacts. And in fact, I think that they will see benefits from the AI debt that they're taking on. So I don't know. Service now isn't really necessarily taking on a lot of debt, but I think what people are concerned about is that they're going to be ruled obsolete because of the AI impacts, people vibe coding, etc. And I just think we're so far away from that there's an opportunity with like things like Adobe, ServiceNow, But I think that this week will not be it. I think at the moment, I think it's going to potentially be a 3 to 6 month trough, Steve, of like, and yes, I think you might see some rebounding, but I think, that might lead me to, because it's the 10th, right? So we have Tuesday basically as Oracle earnings. One of two things I think that we need to take into account is that will not be good, as you stated. I think that Oracle will continue to put tech on watch with respect to expanding debt service, etc. We're no longer free cash flow machines. The free cash flow is drying up, and of course, people heavily invested in some of these companies for that massive wedge of free cash flow. Now that massive wedge of free cash flow is disappearing, they don't know. It leads to a road of uncertainty as to what comes out on the other side. Or you get another mountain, right, of free cash, which I think it will lead to that. But I think right now, I think there's a lot of uncertainty, which is why people are getting skeptical, specifically around things like Oracle, who's on the bookend of, hey, we're running free cash flow negative, and we're expanding the balance sheet pretty expansively. And then two, I think with what's going on in Iran, in the CPI PPI, I don't think you're going to see the moves that everyone wants to see, right? I think that we've seen a lot of easy wins, and I think February might show okay numbers, but I don't think that what we'll see is the Fed immediately wanting to potentially cut with everything that's kind of going on right now, unless there's some sort of massive depression that happens within the country, and then with escalating prices going in. I know that they are kind of a backward-looking organization. Trailing 3 months is kind of what they put more hyper focus on than what's currently ongoing in the markets, and they generally wait, a month before they actually believe whatever is kind of in the headlines. So there's that piece that unfortunately we have to fight. But I think that at the moment they're going to probably pause. They might not really get another cut, and I think you've been in this boat for a while, Steve, until June, July. So I think that might catch people off by surprise, but I think the market's going to react to that. So the sneezing of what's going on in technology, coupled with what's going on in Iran and the potential volatility associated with that, the disruption that is brought by higher input costs associated with commodity prices, and then the pausing until the middle of the year for interest rate cuts, that I think is all going to pay into a short-term headwind on the markets. But the thing that's beneficial for anybody that's looking for long-term, I think this provides that opportunity, like Steve said, with companies like Oracle, with companies like ServiceNow. It allowed me to pick up Palantir at cheaper prices. Rocket Lab at below $60. I was able to buy some. So to me, if you're looking at this long term, it provides some opportunity to potentially take some outsized bets and load up when prices were just 25-30% for some of these companies just a few months back.
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. Look, the big problem is the Middle East conflict. It shows no signs of resolution. We're in 8 days now. Shipping is basically paralyzed. Like I said yesterday, Qatar's energy minister warned that Gulf exporters could be forced to shut down production within weeks. If that happens, Matt has said this time and time again, to spin up production in oil wells after shutting them in takes weeks, if not months. That could cause oil to spike to 150. If that does, expect the bear market for at least a little bit. That would be huge shock. And the other problem is the path to 150 involves months of elevated prices, will feed through consumer inflation, transportation costs, manufacturing inputs. I mean, the geopolitical risk premium in oil prices could persist if things do not get better soon for quarters, not weeks. I really do hope that my synopsis of this is going to end by the end of this week comes true, because if it doesn't, we're running a very dangerous game. Very, very dangerous game.
No, I mean then if it doesn't end by this week or next, I mean I think you hit the nail on the head. It ends up being a broader skirmish that opens up opportunities for others that might be looking to take advantage of a situation where the intent was to overthrow a religious government that did not align with 80% of the population, to now opening up to other regions being taken control of within Iran, and I don't think that was the intent. So,
no, I don't think it was the intent. Who knows what the intent was? I mean, you got theories that this is all to gain leverage on China after Maduro and now Iran because of the big summit that's coming up. 90% of their oil is imported. You got the VIX up, credit markets. I mean, the bears are watching. You got rising yields and widening credit spreads. I mean, that increases borrowing costs for corporations, particularly those with floating rate debt. And then we got the AI investment thesis. I mean, Oracle could add a lot of pressure. So this week is going to be really interesting. We also got the tariff policy. We know the Supreme Court ruling forced them to do a 10% global, whatever they're classifying it as, which increased to 15%. But that's up in July. We have no idea what's going to happen. So there's a lot of unknowns now. The Middle East conflict is the black swan event that nobody could have foreseen, that is now triggering a lot of mini things. And this may be a very dangerous market for a little bit of time. I don't believe that Trump has the ability to keep this going. Otherwise, kiss the midterms goodbye. Now, whether he cares about the midterms or not, people are saying he doesn't. I don't think he wants to be a lame duck president for two years. I think he actually wants to get his agenda done. So that's given me hope that they're going to work to get this done.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to transpire.
Nobody knows. Nobody does.
I said, why are you always homeless?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why is Maddie always homeless?
I don't know. I tell my nieces and nephews that I live in a box too.
Why do you live in a box?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So Steve, what's it like to be behind?
It's fun.
You gonna come back or what?
100%. 100%.
What's the plan? Do you have any plans to make moves in your portfolio or this week?
I'm going to make it back on option income.
On Zeta? Cover calls?
Live by the sword, die by the sword, right?
BMNR leaps?
No, it's cover calls. I got put 200 shares. I'm going to write them closer to the money.
You're down 32%. Okay. Ooh, you got some QQQI and PDI in there.
Yes, Matt, we went through this.
I know. I'm digesting it. I'm just digesting it again. I don't know, Steve. Maybe I sell everything and just put my money into this PIMCO Dynamic Income Fund.
I mean, you could. So the good thing is the cover calls I sold for this week on BMNR, they're currently trading for 5 cents. I can buy them back and write cover calls at 22 and make $90 real quick and shave maybe 1.5% off of what I'm down. Or I can wait and hopefully BMR goes up a little bit this week and make some more money. I'll chip away at it. Don't you worry. I'm making sure I pay more attention to this.
Were you not paying attention before?
I obviously wasn't, considering I got shares put on me well before the expiration date. I mean, what am I going to do? Lie and say that, oh, I rolled it? No, I got to be truthful.
Yeah. I get it, man.
You know? Could I have lied? Absolutely. Am I going to? No, because I'm not a liar. Like, the only thing I lied about is the S&P being over 7,000, according to Matt.
Still lying.
Which, in my defense, it went over 7,000 like a week and a half after the date. But
well, it's like SoFi hitting
Right.
$30 before
Right.
the end of the year, and now it's down 33%. Which reminds me, are you buying? You have a full position in SoFi, right? So you're not buying.
yeah, I'm not buying.
If I had more money, I would, but I have to concentrate on my positions, you know?
I mean, look, if I didn't have a full position, I'd consider it. But I got a full position at, I think, a $9.50 average price. There's no reason for me to average up when I want more Amazon. I have more SoFi on a dollar basis than Amazon. So until I have more Amazon than SoFi, I'm not buying SoFi.
Apparently, if it gets bad, you could rent a plane and meet up with the guy in Sinaloa. Steve.
I mean, no, that's not happening.
Well, we all know Steve can't leave the country. So.
That's not true. Actually, I guess I can't right now because I don't have a passport.
Yeah.
You're right.
Why are you lying to the people?
You're right. I have not gotten the passport in the mail yet.
You didn't need a passport a couple years back. I think you could just like roll up with a US ID.
Technically, I can leave the country. Technically, I can go to Puerto Rico because it's a U.S. territory and I'm not on the mainland. Because I do have a real ID in my wallet.
Is that technically out of the country, though?
Sure. Is Puerto Rico a state?
You could say continental U.S.
Is Puerto Rico a state?
It's a territory.
Exactly. So I'm out of the country if I go to Puerto Rico.
But it's a U.S. territory.
It's not a state.
It's going.
It's not part of the country.
Let's ask Gemini, Steve.
It doesn't matter what Gemini says. In my book, Puerto Rico is not part of the country. Part of the country, you have to be an actual state.
Is going to Puerto Rico leaving the country of the United States?
Yes, it is.
Let's see. Defining
not on the mainland.
Then that's leaving the continental U.S. Steve's over here spreading misinformation. No, traveling to Puerto Rico is not leaving the United States because Puerto Rico is an official United States territory. Traveling there for the mainland is considered a domestic trip.
Gemini's wrong.
No passport required. We should do a meetup in Puerto Rico, Steve. I know somebody else that would like it. You just need a real ID, Steve. Technically, you go to Puerto Rico.
I have a real ID.
I know. I should go, man. Just for like technically I'm not leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just away for the weekend.
Listen, it's not a state. You're leaving the country. All right?
Steve, leaving New York is leaving the country for you. Okay,
100%.
like
100%. New York is the U.S. How about that?
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, Steve.
It's true.
Nothing you can't do.
I mean, you want Chinese food? You want Korean? You want Japanese? You want Italian? You want pork? You got everything here.
33 o'clock. What am I getting for dinner, Steve? That's the real question.
I think you should get a steak. Nice bloody steak. Go sit at the bar, watch the game,
I need to finish the F1 race.
watch F1.
I should. Have
Sure.
beef prices come down from the grocery? I don't know.
Which prices?
Beef prices.
I have no idea.
Steve's like, I don't know, Matt. What's banana cost these days? $10? I don't know.
Bananas?
Yeah.
I just bought
From
bananas this morning.
I know. It's from a show, Steve.
Okay. Succession, the price of a gallon of milk.
That scene is hysterical.
Hysterical.
What's the price? I was like, fuck if I know. I don't know.
Boar on the floor.
Yeah. That somebody just came 15 seconds too late. You think Target is a dead count bounce? What's going on with Target, Steve?
I own it. I haven't looked at it. It just sits there.
What else is
Leslie,
intriguing me?
I have a position in SoFi.
Large position. No capital gains. People believe in Puerto Rico.
Listen, Puerto Rico is very interesting from that aspect.
Maybe I move there for a year, claim it that I was there for 6 months, sell all my Rocket Lab and Palantir, and
I mean, you can get all the Cuban cigars you want.
they can import Cubans to Puerto Rico?
I believe so.
Don't tell me that.
I mean, the last time I was down there when I stayed at the Intercontinental, they were selling Cuban cigars right outside the casino.
I know a lot of people that do like they do stints in Puerto Rico for like that reason. I don't know. I'm a believer in business taxes, like obviously taxing business and stuff like that. Like, but capital gains tax, I think, is a fraud.
I think capital gains tax is bullshit. We've
I think it's
already been
bullshit.
taxed on the money. Like, come on.
Yeah.
The corporations have paid the tax on the revenue made, and we've already paid tax on the capital we've invested in the business. I think capital gains tax on individuals is bullshit. My own opinion.
Nicaraguans are my favorite cigar.
Incredible.
Generally.
Incredible.
I'm not a big fan of Dominican, but I've had some really
Dominicans
good.
got some good tobacco, Matt.
It's got some good. There have been some good. I prefer most of the Nicaraguans. I would say 85% of the Nicaraguan cigars I've had, I liked. And it's more like 50, 60% of Dominicans. I always love smoking a cigar, so it's hard for me to say it's not good. But I would say I personally, with what I like, the taste that I like, prefer the Nicaraguans over the Dominicans. Steve, you're a good man.
You're a good man. Why do you still use a headset?
Because I'm not as good as you, Steve.
I just don't understand why you're using a headset.
I've thought about it as well, Steve. Do you have a recommendation? What am I going to get? Some Apple phones stuff?
No, just get a freaking sound bar for your computer.
Soundbar.
Your computer will automatically take care of everything. I mean, you're not hearing a reverb when you speak. I'm not showing my mic off.
Soundbar.
Yes, soundbar.
You're my soundbar, Steve.
About QXO, I think we're going to see QXO go lower in the short term unless Brad Jacobs does some more acquisitions. The higher oil prices could throw the investment thesis out of whack for a while. You may get a better opportunity to add. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but my investment thesis on QXO had to do with lower rates. So if it looks like rates are going to stay where they are or even potentially increase, I think QXO can go back to the mid to high teens. You do not need high quality speakers for your PC. It's a PC. You can get a good quality soundbar for your PC and be fine. Unless you're doing heavy duty gaming where you want to be immersed in the sound, a soundbar is just fine. I love AGNC, but at the same time, I think REITs are going to take a hit in the short term. The whole investment case is going to reshape now because of what's going on overseas.
Yeah, I think because of the pausing, I think it's going to throw a wrench into the assumption that prices for energy are going to stay lower, and because of that, I think it's going to put another wrench into, do we cut interest rates or not? And you have to think that the interest rate stuff is reverse looking. So they might come out with good CPI, PPI this month, but next month you might see a slight increase based off of feed costs going up, pretty dramatically. And I'm not exactly too sure. Maybe Gemini knows how much of CPI and PPI are energy costs as oil prices. And so that's obviously going to say, oh, we're going to pause things. I mean, people were running under the assumption that interest rates are going to really go down this year. We've only had the one cut, right?
I don't know how many cuts we get. This, all I know is this needs to end soon.
Energy accounts for 6.3. Transportation's 3%. Household energy is 3%. But that obviously has trickle-on effects, right? So that's direct measurements, right? But if your entire oil price goes up, what does that impact on the entirety, right? So it's much more difficult because the inflation of everything else takes a follow-on impact.
Yeah.
So like directly, it might be 6%, but that other 94% is being impacted as well. God, Steve, now you got me thinking about a nice salty, well-seasoned, I should say, not salty, well-seasoned.
I mean, is there a reason not to?
I could do some shrimp too.
I mean, listen, I think that you deserve it, Matt. You're doing well on the small portfolio challenge.
Don't get in my head, Steve.
All right, I'm not getting in your head. I'm just saying I think you deserve it. That's all.
Steve's trying to get in my head, people.
Doesn't everybody think Matt deserves a nice medium rare steak?
From where, Steve?
Listen, man.
Do you guys have J. Alexander's in New York?
Never heard of it.
Okay, it's like a chain, but I've never heard you talk about it. So they had it in King of Prussia. They had it in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and then they have one here in Houston. So.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
How's the Maggiano's in New York?
Maggiano's?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've ever been.
To be honest, for a, and this is coming from somebody that's been in the Northeast, right? So I'm not just like saying, oh, like I'm from Texas, you know. It's pretty effing good. So pretty effing good. They even said it. Then the guys on Long Island, that show that you were talking about with the chicken parm, they even said Maggiano's.
Like it sounds familiar. I just can't place it.
No, it's okay. I mean, generally, it's like they're generally by malls, generally, and they're more like larger. They're not small boutique, right? They generally have like a pretty substantial foot size, generally. But in New York, I don't know how that works out. I deserve something real nice when you pay off these student loans. Yeah, you do. Nice trip somewhere.
Forget the trip. Birkin.
Oh, take a trip to Paris and get the Birkin, Steve.
You know why? You can
They
get the
hold their
money
value.
out of it.
Actually, can I ask a question, Steve?
I feel like I know you're going to ask, so sure.
Is it wrong that if I buy a future spouse a bag, I buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that in the prenup, it's written that if I buy the bag, that it's mine. Even
No,
if it's,
because it's a gift. You are gifting it. It is no longer yours.
what if I have it in the prenup written that it's since I bought it? It's mine.
No, you can't do that. It is not an asset of yours. The second that you gift something, you transfer ownership.
What makes something a gift?
If you buy a bag for somebody and give it to them, you are gifting it to them.
What if it's written into a prenup saying that it's mine?
No. Doesn't work like that.
Chell said he can do that, but it is wrong.
No, Charles, we are saying absolutely he cannot do that. Period.
See? Gifting law depends on the state, Steve.
I'm taking the other side of that. No. No, no. No, no, no.
So I don't know, my future ex-wife would agree with you.
Your future ex-wife.
Yeah. Not stay single. I don't think you got to worry about that. Nobody's knocking. So
Man, I think you should go to the store and I think you should go get something.
cookies.
No, I think you should get something, to show off your accomplishments.
Oh,
I think you need another statement piece.
what do I need, Steve?
You know,
I already have a fake Rolex. What else?
I think you need a second fake Rolex.
What's the what kind? Can we go to the Rolex? Can you bring up the Rolex?
I mean,
site?
Vlad did have an all gold Sky Dweller on. It was freaking beautiful.
Dude, I wanted to ask you. He brought up the timepieces during the podcast.
Yeah, he called out my watch.
I love how he didn't he was classy about it. He's like they're showpieces, like you have your jewelry on.
Yeah,
He's a charismatic guy. Get an AP. I don't have that Steve Fiorillo. What a serious question about Rolex, actually. What do you think that the rumor that the Pepsi is going to discontinue?
I'm so angry. I'm so angry.
Because you wanted one?
No, because when I got a certain one, I don't like the Pepsi as much as the one that I got. And I'm just from a pure number standpoint, it's like, motherfucker.
Because now you could buy two. If you'd gotten the Pepsi, you'd been like,
Right.
well,
I could have went and sold it on 47th Street and went back and yeah.
Like I heard they've already skyrocketed above 40,000. Keep in mind, it's like, I don't know, what, a $15,000-$16,000 piece? I don't remember what it is. Initially. I don't know. What am I thinking, Steve? For a while, well, see, this is the predicament I get into, right? Because I'm like, well, what's Maddie's next step? Is he going to buy another? His potential step down. Step down makes it seem like I'm in financial ruin. I don't want to say retirement house because it's not going to be my retirement house, but it's going to be the house I moved back to when I moved back to the Northeast. And it's going to be like my own personal vacation home / rent it out, right? I'm not going to just like own it. It's going to be rented. So rented.
I think you should go get another watch, Matt.
Yeah, but that doesn't generate cash flow, Steve.
Yeah, but as long as you buy the right ones, you'll be able to get out of it for either the same amount of money or more and own it for nothing.
That assumes that you sell it, Stephen.
Yeah, assuming you sell it. Assuming you sell it. Oh, look at this guy.
Can't
Tevis
believe
is
this guy-
so far
I can't-
south that he may end up in Antarctica.
Can't believe he legit went to Argentina just so he could put international vibe coder on his resume.
I can't believe he went to Argentina. And then when I say to him, better you than me, post it on X.
I don't know. I would love. I'm. It's just an inopportune time, right? Like, I would love to go, but I need to get ready for families coming at the end of the month. It just was too quick of a turnaround, unfortunately.
You know, these things happen. These things happen.
If it was in June, July, but then again, depending on what happens in June, July, we might be in Singapore. So I don't know. It still might not be. But if I go to Singapore, I'm going to Japan. I'm telling you that much.
If you go to Singapore, you're going to Japan. I like it.
I mean, I know they're completely like they're super far away from each other still, but I'm on that side of the world. Like I need to take the opportunity.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Matt, I think we're going to wrap.
Thank you for an excellent week, Steve. I think you'll turn it around. You know what you're doing, and BM&R, I feel very confident it's not going to go down much more. So
same here, Matt. Same here.
Are you're not buying any more in your personal portfolio?
I have averaged down.
I need to start getting a.
Yes,
I bought my initial position, but I haven't added to it. It's very small initial position, but I need to get it set. I need to look at my normal buys and adjust. And now that I'm getting a raise, I got a small raise. So now that I'm getting that, maybe I don't need any more money. So what I might do is just look at what I'm going to get after taxes from that and just add that. Maybe I'll just add that to BM&R. I don't know.
I think there's a future show tonight. I'm not sure. I have not talked to Amit, but I'd be shocked if there wasn't, everyone.
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate everybody's patience, especially as I always jump from topic to topic about food. Generally, I get on stream with Steve before I've eaten anything for the day, so I'm quite hungry. But appreciate everyone's patience with that. Appreciate everybody being and continuing to watch us. Appreciate everybody patience with my small account, and I don't know how to use Excel. What else am I appreciate, Steve?
For not doing your homework.
Not doing my homework. Nope. Indian food does sound good. Steve, do ribeye? Strip?
Just go get a porterhouse, please.
Porterhouse?
Yeah. Go get a porterhouse. Best of both worlds. You got a strip on one side. You got the filet on the other. Both on the bone. Let's go get after it.
Best porterhouse, Houston. You think they'll mind if I show up in a Carhartt shirt, Steve?
I mean, go sit at the bar.
I'll give him a 20.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll see everyone later. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you all. Love you.